My name is Dr. Gavin Shaffron, and I work with the Office of Dean of Students as the College Substance Abuse Prevention Coordinator. Today I'm going to be talking to you about our Universal Substance Use Screening System that's going to be integrated into our first year seminar course. But before I do that, I'm going to give you a little bit of background into the Baruch College Substance Abuse Prevention Program. Baruch College recently, within the last 2 years, received the Office of Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Services, also known as OASIS, College Environmental Prevention Grant. Now, this grant includes several goals, the first of which is outreach, second, health education services in both student conduct and non-student conduct capacities, consultation services, and also universal screening for the entire undergraduate population. Now, we aim to accomplish this through the Third Millennium Classroom alcohol-wise, marijuana-wise, and other drugs courses, and their companion eCheckup to Go screening systems. These systems will be a component of first year and transfer student seminars that students complete on their own, at home, by a predetermined date, which I'm going to be talking to you about in a little bit. They then have the opportunity to discuss their experience of participating in the first year seminar and transfer student seminar class, in particular the health and wellness section, about what their experience was in taking this course. So, to give you guys a little bit of background as to what the Universal Substance Use Screening System is, it includes two components. An educational component, which is part of alcohol-wise, marijuana-wise, and the other drug course. And this addresses information on alcohol, cannabis, nicotine, stimulants, opiates, depressants, and pretty much all substances that we commonly see used here at Baruch College by our students. But most importantly, it also includes a screening component, and this is known as eCheckup to Go, which is an artificial intelligence informed system which allows students to answer questions about their substance use and misuse, if that's present, and is given an automatic brief intervention based on the substance use that the student indicates. So if the student indicates that their substance use is above a certain cutoff score, they may be directed towards voluntarily attending sessions at either our counseling center, speaking with myself, the Substance Abuse Prevention Coordinator through the Office of Health and Wellness, or given outside sources that aren't on campus that can serve as resources for students who may have substance misuse concerns. So, here are some details for how the course is activated. Students can access the course through their Blackboard account. Now, every student through first year seminar has a Blackboard. The link will be provided. It may be between 1 and 3 links where the student is given login information to be able to access the course. Please encourage the students to start the screener and course early. Give them about a week ahead of the deadline that I'm going to be mentioning shortly, and because they should expect to devote 1 to 2 hours to the total process. Now, they don't need to do this all in one sitting. There are 3 distinct courses, and they can do each one independently, and each one may take around a half hour or a little bit more to complete with the screening questions. It should also be mentioned that their responses are completely confidential. It's really important to emphasize this to your students, that their responses are confidential from the administration and from their academic record and from you as their instructor as well. Access is limited to the Substance Abuse Prevention Coordinator, myself, and the Counseling Center staff, of which I'm a part, for the purposes of identifying risk. Raw de-identified data will be used for institutional outcome research purposes, but it won't be tied to the student's personal information. So really what this system is about is for students to be able to gauge their own risk and to be able to be paired with resources that are available on campus should their risk at any point rise to the level of intervention. But it is completely up to the student as to whether they pursue any additional resources. The due date, we have a soft due date, which is the week 4 health and wellness session, but we have a more solid hard due date of September 30th, which means that students are encouraged to complete all 3 courses and screening components of the universal screening system by the health and wellness class session, because it gives them the opportunity to discuss their experience of taking the course, or all 3 courses I should say, by that class session. However, if the student does not complete the universal screening system by September 30th, then as it is a core requirement for first-year seminar, then they would not be given credit for the course. But if you have any questions about that, you can feel free to reach out to myself or to Kevin Taylor for further clarification, because there may be certain extenuating circumstances where we would want to offer credit if that student was able to complete the screener at a later date. So, to give you guys an idea of the soft due date, the health and wellness class schedule is as follows. For Monday classes, it's September 23rd, Tuesday, September 17th, Wednesday classes, September 18th, Thursday classes, September 26th, and Friday classes, September 20th. And again, that's the soft due date with a firm due date of September 30th. So how do you talk to students about the universal screening system? Well, it's important to introduce the idea of the screening system in the first class, ideally, or at least early on, maybe by the second class, along with important dates and deadlines. Emphasize the confidentiality of the students' responses and their identifying information. As the instructor, you will only be informed if your student has not completed the course. That information would come from myself, the Substance Abuse Prevention Coordinator, not from the software itself. You will not have access to any other information, and you as the instructor will not have access to the course. Students should come to the health and wellness class session prepared to discuss their experience with the universal screening system. But please do not encourage them to share their responses or results. This is completely confidential. If they do, thank them for sharing, but please remind them of the confidentiality of the course and their responses. Now, when we're talking about substance misuse, there's always the potential that a student may be very activated by being asked questions about this. And especially can be the case with students with their own substance use histories or a history of substance misuse in their families of origin. They may find these questions somewhat distressing. It's important to note that the students are not required to answer questions that make them feel uncomfortable. They are required to participate in the universal screening system, which means going through the 3 different courses and answering some questions. But if there are ones that they find particularly distressing, you can inform them that they can skip those questions. You can also ask to speak to the student privately if they're very upset. You can inform them of the services available to them in the counseling center through the College Substance Abuse Prevention Coordinator and through the city if they prefer to discuss with somebody off campus. The contact information for the counseling center, for myself, and for free and confidential city services are all located on this slide. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, again, at my email address here, gavin.shaffron@baruch.cuny.edu, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate your participation in getting students to complete the universal screening system at Baruch College.